Alright, we're going to do some driving around. Just regular driving around. Anywhere between 20 to 40, and then we'll get up on the freeway. That way we can hear all the delicious sounds of this intake. And for everyone that keeps asking, that I see on forums, asking us like, should I get this intake or not? Well, hopefully this will help you make your decision. So I'm going to try and just ease into accelerations at first. Low boost. Low gear driving for now. I'll put the mod list in the top of the comments. That way you can see what I've got that's affecting any of the engine noise, anything like that. There's a few other mods I have on this. I do have a couple different bars set up for better traction and stuff, but they don't really affect the sound or drivability, or the driving in a straight line. It's mostly for when I want to just take turns at unsafe speeds. It helps. So right now we're just kind of cruising it. Right now I'm at about 45 in fourth gear, 2,500 RPM. So relatively quiet on the intake. I don't know if the microphone will pick up, but I am running right now with a little bit of a crackle tune. So at a higher RPM, slowing down, I do get some of the pops and bangs. Try not to do it too much, just because I don't really want to get pulled over, because I don't know if they're going to pull me over for that. You never know. You'd think they'd pull me over for speeding, but they seem to ignore my car when I'm speeding, which I'm not complaining about. I mean, who's going to complain about never getting speeding tickets? So this speed right here is just over 40, third gear, just over 3,000 RPMs. Just keeping my foot on the gas, not cruise control. And cabin sound, relatively quiet. Everyone keeps saying this is loud intake, but it also depends on if you change that blow-off valve. That if you run that symposer or delete blow-off valve, it really helps quiet this intake down a lot. Okay, right now we are 50 miles an hour, fourth gear, cruise control. Again, quiet. It's, as I'm starting to go a little bit, that was a little bit of an uphill climb. You hear it start pulling in a little bit more sound, so. I am making my way to the freeway entrance. Be up here in just a couple minutes. This will give us I'll kind of give it some pretty good throttle. That hard acceleration you heard earlier, that was me giving it pretty good throttle. I mean, I hit almost 22 pounds of boost in second gear, so I wasn't all the way foot to the floor, but that's the typical sound you're going to hear with a harder acceleration. A light acceleration, not even hitting boost, that's the sound you're getting. Pretty light. I mean, it's pretty whooshy. Okay, freeway entrance. Like I said, let's give it some gas. 3,200 RPMs. So this is our freeway cruising speed, my cruising speed. And the microphone's sound, what it's picking up, this is what it sounds like. If we compare it to earlier videos I had before I was just running the boom blow valve, it's a lot louder. This is definitely quieter. You know, obviously we'll have to just, depends on what the camera, how the camera picks it up. But when you're actually in the cabin itself, this is a lot quieter. It's a lot easier to hold, say, a conversation with somebody. Radio-wise, you know, and in this wise, you know, I'll run my volume at about 10 at this speed, and it does a pretty good job of drowning it out, to where, you know, I can listen to my radio without having to blare it to overcompensate for the intake sound. Here we just slowed down to 70 miles an hour, 5th gear. So, you know, as you can tell, if you live in an area where 70 is about your top speed of where you're able to go, you know, a lot quieter. You can even go a little bit. Let's go down one more gear and set it back up. All right, now I'm climbing a hill, so let's get to the roundabout at this end of the hill. Okay, so this is about flat spot here, going down a little bit, but otherwise flat. And 70 miles an hour. 6th gear. This is what you're going to hear. So a lot of the other side of the states, where your top speed, you know, freeway's only letting you go in 70, and this is all you can really get on the freeway. You know, this is what you hear with that intake, that blow-off sound, the setup I've got. Really not that bad of a sound. I mean, I feel it's a lot more tolerable than just running the intake, and especially if you run any type of spacer or other blow-off valve, it may be a little bit louder. So that's a 4th gear, hard acceleration. And then, you know, this intake, last thing I haven't really touched on was the flutter sound. You get a lot of flutter. Yours might sound different, but this is how mine sounded ever since I put on that symposer delete blow-off valve. Is I get a lot of flutter. At higher RPM, I get a screech. I mean, it really gets mad at you when you let off hard. And when I let off at over 6,000 RPMs, when I was getting onto the freeway, once you get to a certain RPM at that point, it really, all you hear is just a blow-off. You don't actually hear the intake screech or any type of intake noise whatsoever. You just hear a straight spool, and then you can hear the blow-off. So to me, that's a lot of fun. It's a really good sound, in my opinion, for what I enjoy. And, you know, I really enjoy the flutter sound. So I think that's about it. You know, unless I get any different modifications or any other types of tunes done to my car that might change the sound. Otherwise, that's what you can expect out of this car, out of those items. And I'll post another video here in a while where I'll go around and drive with the windows down, and I'll let off with some crackle pop tunes. Some crackle pops, let some people hear that, see if that's something you're going to enjoy or not. You know, it's one of those things where I had to listen to some videos that changed my mind, that I decided I wanted to go along with it. So I love it, and that's my video. Thanks for everyone that's subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. I wasn't ever expecting to get subscribers, but, you know, thank you, and keep tuned for more videos. Thanks.